Today I'm going to show you how to change names on a reservation without losing the guest information and profile information. So say Miss Herringer here, she's one of our long-term guests. She comes in and she goes, you know what, I'm not going to stay this time, or she calls and says, I'm not going to stay. Keep my reservation, but I'm going to put into someone else's name, Mr. John Smith. So you don't want to just come into Miss Herringer's and just start typing Mr. John Smith. You know why? Because Miss Herringer's profile is associated with this number, 44446. And if you go to her profile tab, it shows that she has all these total sales. These are sales year to date. It has all this great guest information. It even has information like we put in here, part of her profile. She has notes on her profile that says loves and requires, room 402. She's a repeat guest. So these are all things that we can set up when you're actually making a reservation. If I went up here and did a test reservation and I typed in Herringer, once it brought her up, I used her suggestion. Look what it comes up. The notes come up there. It brings up her guest profile information. So we have all this information associated with her. If we type that over and associate with a Mr. John Smith, we've just associated Mr. Smith with all that stuff, and he may not like room 402. He's not a repeat guest, maybe, and he hasn't stayed with us with all these days. So we want to keep that information kind of sacred to that individual guest. So instead of typing over Miss Herringer's profile, what we're going to do is say more options. And just so you know, when I type this over, it's not active until I say OK, and I'm not going to do that. So more options. Guest profiles. This is where I'm going to type in Mr. Smith's information. Now, if Mr. Smith has stayed here before, you can just simply start typing their last name, and then you can find Mr. Smith. It's probably a bad name to select because there's so many Mr. Smiths, but say he's stayed here before, we can find him and then simply double-click his profile. So maybe it's this John Smith right here. I can double click. Now it's over, all the profile information is updated to his information, and you can even see the profile number has changed as well. The rate won't change unless if you've overridden the rate and you select a new profile. The override will go from, say if I have $100 here and say Mr. Smith, let's say Mr. Smith's, this is Mr. Smith's reservation and I want to change it to a different profile. If I go to guest profile and say, let's say I switch it back to Herringer. Go there, I'm going to overwrite yes. Look at it. It removes the override. So that's one thing you have to be cautious of if you have an overridden rate. If it's a rate code, then you don't need to worry. It's going to be, it's just going to stay on there. But if it's an overridden rate, when you select a new profile, it will get rid of the overridden rate. If you have lost the overridden rate, you can simply, while you're still active in the reservation file, you can go more options, change journal, and you can see where you were at before. So like right here, 74, 25, 81, 75. So those are little tidbits there. But never overwrite, never type over a guest profile if they're changing names. Always do more options, guest profiles, and either create a new one, which is you just simply click insert, and then you can start typing their information. So I'll show you that real quick, Mr. Jack Smith. And then you can fill out the street address, hit their email address, all that stuff. And then once you select OK, it will automatically have it highlighted. And you can double click that or just press select. Usually I just double click. And then it's going to ask us, hey, the form already contains information different than the profile selected. Do you want to overwrite the complete name and address information? Yes. And now I have this. And now I can actually say, hey, this is not Mr. Smith's address. I need to correct this. But because this is his profile number, I can overwrite it now. But you just don't want to overwrite it when it's associated with someone else's profile. So hope that makes sense. If you have any questions regarding this, just please reach out and let me know. Have a great day and take care.